What's going on, guys? I'm Herbie Mack. In today's episode, we're going to talk about 8 years since my last suicide attempt, the turning point, how I was able to seek help, how I was able to stay resilient, and how to build a community as well, a support system, as I like to say. And we're going to introduce this new segment I think you guys may like. With that being said, let's just dive into it. 8 years ago, I thought it was going to be the happiest moment of my life. I was secretly going to this tech school for recording arts and engineering. And I wanted my parents to be there to watch me graduate. Unfortunately, the last time they saw me walk across the stage was the 8th grade. I graduated high school, but with that, my grades were so bad. I was battling depression in high school that when I was able to graduate, they just shipped my diploma. So it really wasn't that rewarding or fulfilling to me. Wasn't nothing really memorable about high school besides just pain and hurt, to be honest with you. But as I digress, and I'm reaching out to my parents. I'm just like, yo, look, this day I'm going to graduate. Hopefully you guys can come down. If you need help financially, I got whatever that can cover it. This is something major to me. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. And I'm sitting there like, dang, I wish they was there. I wish they was there. And as my graduation's there, I have some of my friends there that's showing love and support. My ex-girlfriend, we wasn't really dating, but she knew like during this time I was going through the emotions and struggling. And secretly, not even secretly, well, I was struggling a lot mentally because I was dealing with, unfortunately, I have chronic migraines. So I was dealing with migraines and I get them occasionally. But this time I was having them for 6 months, like every day in a row. And I was seeing all these specialists trying to figure out getting migraines, not getting migraines, but getting MRI. They thinking like, hey, you possibly might have brain cancer, And I'm just like, yo, you got to be kidding me. I'm getting multiple MRIs, like from this place, that place. Like, hey, you need to get another one. We see something there. And it was a lot for me. And I don't know how, but I was still able to keep a smile on and just say, I'm going to graduate, whatever issue that I'm dealing with mentally, like not even mentally, but just physically with the migraines, I'm going to push through this. Because this is the championship game. I feel like Jordan, game 6, you know what I mean? Like, oh man, this is my flu game. I'm going to have to sit back and just push through this. Not realizing like, man, me pushing through this is not normal. I got to express myself, but we get to that later. So I finally get the chance to walk. As I get to walk, and I'm, you got to take the photo op and, you get your certificate. I'm in the cap and gown. I'm looking in the audience. As I'm looking, I'm just hoping that, man, mom or my dad would just walk through and see this moment, and they did it. And that triggered something. Even on the outside, I'm smiling and I'm feeling great on the outside, but inside I was hurt. Like, damn, I've been out in Tampa for so long that these guys hadn't even visited me. I've been out here over 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, man, do they care? Like, even though I send them the photos of me, posted up, like, celebrating, and it's just like, oh, hey, you did something good, yay, proud of you. But in my mind, it was just like, oh, hey, all right, whatever. Out of sight, out of mind. I was just hurt. And my classmates and my friends and all of us, we go out to go eat. We go out to eat, like eat, like not the Chili's. We actually go out to like Ruth Chris, and on the inside, like I'm just still empty. Like even though the food was amazing, I'm still like hurt and broken. So that took me to a dark place where once I got home, the demons came out. I'm taking shots of Patron. I'm taking shots of Henny. For those who don't know, Henny is Hennessy. So I'm taking shots of that. And I'm just trying to numb my pain because that was my coping strategy. And I kept telling myself, you're not good enough. They don't care about you. They didn't visit you. No one cares about you. And I'm just in a dark place. And all of a sudden I wake up to the sound of someone banging on my door, and it's my ex. Girl, I don't even know why she's there, right? My ex, she's just like, hey, came to, why are you looking like that? Why are you smelling like that? I'm not taking care of myself. I'm not showering. I just smell like depression. And she created space for me. And once she created that space for me to really express how I feel, because she knows like, hey, something's up. You're not you. You're not, laughing, joking. You're not trying to, put a smile on my face or put a smile on your face. You're just there. Like the whole house is pitch black. What's up? She introduced me to the Suicide Prevention Lifeline number, and me having that conversation with the counselor and telling him like, look, today I don't trust myself by myself. I attempted 3 days in a row And if she didn't come knocking, it would have been the fourth. And then that recommended me checking myself into a behavioral health center, which I did. And me being there, it was kind of relief being there because I saw someone that looked like me. This male nurse, he looked like me. He was he was what I needed, right? Like, he looked at me in the eyes and said, look, bro, like, I've been doing this for years. You don't belong here. Like, you're going to actually share your story to help others. And during that time, to be honest, I had no idea what he was talking about, what he saw. I just really wanted to cry because that was my rock bottom. Like, man, I felt like this, I felt like that, and all these negative thoughts. And when I was able to see the psychiatrist and try to get some feedback from him, he was just like, hey, just take this, you'll be fine. And that moment led to me discovering my voice, speaking up for myself. Take what? Like, I know you the doc, but I didn't come here for that. Like, I actually came here to try to dig a little deeper. Are we going to do anything like that? And he's like, no. I have all these patients. We're not going to do that. And that's just like so alarming. And I didn't know about therapy. I didn't seek therapy. And look, and be honest with you guys, in my community, during this time, we didn't talk about therapy at all. It was just like, whatever happens in this house stays in this house, let alone being in a situation like this. Like, I thought I was going to pretty much take this to the grave. But that was something that I was like, okay, I found my voice. Dude didn't want to learn how to communicate with me nor care to. Go back to the male nurse and the female nurses there and just ask them, like, hey, what is a natural way to cope? And they introduced me to journaling, which I realized, like, man, I am a functional alcoholic. I've been drinking for over a decade, if not every day. You know what I mean? Like, this is wow. This is crazy. This can't be life. And once I was able to leave that situation, thankfully, was supposed to have been there for 3 days, was there longer than that. And I was able to leave. You know, another psychiatrist discharged me and was just like, hey, just go seek therapy. But I ain't gonna lie to you. Your boy was broke. And I didn't know the seeking therapy thing was like so taboo to me. And I couldn't afford it, to be honest. Like, I'm living check to check. And my insurance situation wasn't really like great at all. I was just Googling things and calling that Lifeline number to see how can I heal? What can I do to do things like that? From that moment, right, of just calling and just having that conversation, I would never forget, you know, my ex was the one who scooped me up. I told her she knew something was wrong. She kept tabs on me just to make sure I wasn't going through suicidal ideation. Wasn't even like, oh man, I love you, like, you know, like in a sexual type of way. It was just like, yo, I love you as a person. I want to make sure you're good. And I was like, okay with that. Once that happened, she told me, she's like, look, you might want to have a conversation with your parents. Keep it a stack with them. Keep it honest. Just let them know what you're going through. That was the biggest fear, because these people will burst me. Now I have to sit back and look at them and have this conversation. I always wanted to tell them how I felt. Being in that institution, or being in that, you know, that facility, I should say, being there actually changed my mindset, because I had to learn how to speak up to myself with someone that was authority, like that had authority over me and my well-being, but being comfortable enough to do that. So once I took that, you know, that courage, I was like, okay, you know what, you're right. Let me actually speak to my parents. And in the beginning, they was like, yo, I don't want to hear this. I don't need to hear that. And it's just like, I had to look at them and say, it's not about what you want to hear. It's about what you need to hear. This is how I'm feeling. This is how I feel on the inside. My emotions, I'm all over the place, because I'm in a state you never came to visit. You only call me on holidays. You miss my birthday. Like, what's going on, right? Like, you don't even know if I live in a box. You don't know if I'm actually have enough money to afford food. And I get it. Like, I'm an adult, I'm grown, but it's like, at some point, no matter what age I am, I'm still your child. And you're not even looking out for your child. Like, what's up with that? And just really being firm and telling them, like, look, in life, we move forward. We don't move backwards. So if there's something that you want to do, as far as being a part of my life, we're going to move forward. And this is how we're going to learn how to build a better relationship. I'm not accepting X, Y, and Z. And if you are still on that nonsense, I'm going to leave you there. And I mean that, because if I ever decide to get married, have kids, I don't need that trauma to come to my kids' life. They don't deserve that. They deserve to be at a place at peace, happiness, and learn how to see, not even learn, but see what love unconditional love is, and let them know, like, yo, look, I'm here for you. Whether you call 3 a.m, whether you just say, hey, what's up, dad? Like, that's the mindset I was at. And once that conversation happened, I, touched down. I'm in Tampa and I'm trying to figure out life. My buddies that found out, over time, like, I slowly told a couple of people that, yeah, I was suicidal. Yeah, I was actually in a behavioral health center. I was there. Let's go turn up. You know what I mean? You the turn up king. Yo, I got Hennies on deck. And I had to learn to say no. Look, I love you, bro. I love hanging out with you. I love partying with you. But I don't want to do that anymore. Because when I do that mindset of mine, the negativity just comes and I can't control it. It's like I'm fighting 2 people at once. and I'm tired of it. I don't want to drink. We can go hang out. But, yo, let me get some water. Hey, I'll take some soda, if that, occasionally, right? Like, I don't want to drink. I want to live life on my terms of what that looked like. Along that journey of me saying no, I kept telling myself, in order to grow, I have to get uncomfortable. What is something that you haven't done that you should be doing? All right, we're not going out, we're not partying, we're not turning up anymore. Yeah, I've been watching all these movies. Actually, let me read some books. Started, okay, I can't really read any books right now because majority of the time I'm sitting in the car, stuck in traffic, or I'm always at work, or I'm always doing something. And I started picking up walking a lot. So I was just like, yo, you know what? Let me do the audibles. And I started getting into the audibles. And then once I started getting into the audible books and started really like listening to these books, not only just for like self-help, financial, just like going to a whole new world. Like, man, I haven't even thought about that. I haven't viewed like this or experienced this. Let me learn about this and learn about that. That helped out a lot. And then exercising, right? I thought exercising was just something like people like to stay fit, right? Like, oh man, I like to look like John Cena. I like to look like The Rock. No, but I started exercising in the sense of for my mental. I started hooping. I like playing basketball. Basketball is like my thing. That's my coping method. And basketball was my support group, right? The people that hold me accountable. Yo, Tuesday, 6:45, we here. You gonna be here? Yeah, Tuesday. And then all of a sudden, these people don't even ask me anymore on Tuesday. Yo, you showing up? They know, like, okay, he's coming on Tuesday. All right, cool. I'll call him if I don't see him at a certain time, right? Because life does happen. At a certain point, you want to make sure, your peoples are good. And that was holding me accountable. I stopped. Yo, I'm just getting Gatorade, man. I'm gonna get a few. Hey, all right, cool. Overslept. I'm on my way now. Like things like that. Doing that, started exercising, started walking, started really just embracing that and just learning. Like these are the things that help my mental. And then also really addressing my trauma. Like I started addressing by journaling. I thought I had a journal up here. I started addressing by journaling. Right. And as I'm journaling, and you really get to dive into those thoughts and emotions. But, at some point I couldn't sit down anymore because my lifestyle was becoming too busy. Right. I wasn't really being productive. I was just being busy. But I had to reframe it and say, yo, let me be productive. I'm take out my phone. I'm going to start doing voice notes. And that was my journaling. And then I took it to a different level. Oh, you know what? Let me actually take pictures of places that I've been. Doesn't necessarily have to be a vacation. Yeah, sure. If you go out to LA, if you go out anywhere, okay, cool. But for myself, it was like, yo, I'm on it. This is a vacation. I'm going to the beach. I was only going to the beach once every 3 years. I've been to the beach 4 times this year. Like that. Let me take pictures of that. Let me embrace that. Let me enjoy that. That was the things that I had to learn how to do to reframe my mindset. Right. And then when those moments when I feel crappy, I'm looking at the pictures like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Yo, I actually went to LA. I actually been out to Ghana. Let me embrace that. I actually been doing the things like dressing up for Halloween, right? And that was the things that I started journaling in that type of way. And then also to add on to coloring, right? Coloring was one of the things I used to help slow the world down, help me address the issues that I needed, right? Like, I'm like, man, I'm so locked in on checking out these streaming services, right? Oh, hey, did you see the new movie? Did you see whatever new superhero movie? Did you see Power? Did you see Orange is Black? Did you see? And it's just like, yo, no, I didn't. Everybody wants my attention, but the person that need my attention is me. Do I have my own attention? No, I don't, because I'm so locked into everything else. Let me slow the world down and start coloring. That was one of the biggest things that I started doing to heal. Really addressing my trauma is that, and just learning, right? Because even though we experience so many things, or I shouldn't say we, but even though I experienced so many things, I tend to like look at it in a negative setting, right? Like, oh my goodness, they treated me like this, they treated me like that. What can I take from that that's positive, right? Let me address the positive part. Let me take the positive part out and leave the negative there. I'm going to acknowledge it, but I don't have to believe that's who I am, or I don't have to believe that's the experience that I had all the time. There is some good moments. Let me acknowledge the positive moments. Let me actually believe the positive moments. So those were things that I started doing. The books, the coloring, the journaling, and then also networking. Yeah, I started going to conferences. Never. I thought conferences was like only for business people, or like only for the CEOs and all that. No, I started going to conferences. One was Eric Thomas, and then even like Earn Your Leisure. For those guys are like superheroes in his own right. But started going to Invest Fest, and just really started investing into myself, because that's what we do when you go to those conferences. I may not be able to touch the people or the keynote speakers or the panelists or anything like that, but there's someone next to me, right? Or someone in front of me that got the similar mindset. Yo, we're going to take over the world. Hey, cool. Let's exchange numbers. Let's exchange ideas. Hey, man, let's keep in contact with each other. And that leads to me talking about building a support group. Nowadays, right now, I don't even like to say a support group. Let's say a support system. So nowadays, as far as my support system, when I'm struggling, look, I text, hey, do you have space for me? If so, because at the end of the day, I want to be mindful, and I want to acknowledge that person on the other end. I don't know what they're going through. I don't know if they have space for me. And if so, I want to give them that okay. Like, hey, do you have space for me? Oh, no, I don't have any space today. Okay, cool. Can we set up a appointment for you to have space with me? For me? And they're like, sure, we can set up a place. Yeah, let's set up a date for us to have a conversation where I have space for you. Okay, cool. Oh, we're going to do it Friday? All right, 7:00. Hey, look, this is what I need from you. I just want to vent. I don't want no feedback. I just need to express myself. Okay, cool. And this way they know what to take on. I know what I'm delivering, and I'm not trying to step over my boundaries, right? Like, I don't want to, because I just want to be mindful. I don't want to be that person, the trauma dump or anything like that. I want to make sure this person has enough space for me. If they don't, it's fine. But I have people like that, and that's the language that I always, hey, do you have space for me today? Okay, hey, this is what I need. I need a vet. Or I actually need some feedback. Do you have space for me? All right, cool. And that helps out so much. You're being clear, and that person knows how to support you. That is so major in that, is being direct with someone being direct with someone who wants to support you, and telling them how you need support and how you want to. So this is a new segment that I like to call Beyond the Stigma, Empower Conversations. So it's a couple of questions that I'm going to answer, a few questions that I'm going to answer that will hopefully give you some more insight. With that being said, here we go. Question number 1. What were the most essential factors to contribute to your recovery? To be honest with you, journaling. Being able to journal and express myself and not be judged. And then also exercising, going outside, getting some fresh air, moving the body, moving the brain, and getting out that negative headspace. That helped a lot. And then last, not least, having a great support system. But not only having a great support system, but being direct with my support system and telling them how I need support, what I expect from them. Question number 2, could you share a moment that impacted your journey? The moment that really impacted my healing journey, that I was like, yo, I need to heal, was when I woke up that morning. I was taking shots of Patron and Hennessy, and it was 6, and I had to be at work at like 7:30. That was the moment I was just like, yo, what's going on? Hold on. It was like an out of body experience. And that's when I poured about $390 worth of alcohol down the drain, and had to look at myself and say, is your addiction going to define you? Do you believe that's who you are? Or you think there's more to you? What are you without this? I had to learn. It's a hard journey, but that was something that helped me wake up and realize there's more to me. How do you learn how to manage setbacks along the way? I've learned that setbacks are bound to happen, right? there's a reason why pencils have erasers. But what can I do to avoid those setbacks as much as possible? And that's creating a safety plan, right? Having tools, things that hold me accountable, like my accountability contract, my vision board that I have, and also just my network, my team, like, hey, communicating with them. So having a safety plan helped me avoid relapse and setbacks as much as possible, and really being able to communicate with my team, my support group, my support system. What role does self-care play in your recovery process? Great question. Self-care plays a major role. Learning to say, no, today I'm going to rest. I'm going to enjoy life. And just really planning that, having a day just devoted to my self-care. And most of that is QT with the family, and embracing that, and just realizing that I have to be present, right? My kids are at a young age of 3 and 5, and there would never be 3 and 5. So being present in this moment and embracing the dad, let's play and enjoy, and embracing the husband role as well. So yeah, self-care plays a major part of like that. I need that to take care of myself, right? I need that to put on, in order to take on the stigma of suicide. I realized the importance of putting on your own oxygen mask before you take care of others. How do you navigate the stigma around mental health and seeking help? I navigate it by having these conversations out loud, because there's people that look like me, there's people that don't look like me that's going through very similar situations like this. So having these conversations and reframing the mindset of seeking help as a sign of weakness is not. It's not. If you think it is, how about this? Use your resources. How about that? Use your resources, because we view resources as valuable, and that's what this is. So when you seek help or you see help, think of resources that is valuable to help you and assist you in your life and your journey. What strategy do you maintain during your, I think I already answered that. Yeah, I'm going to skip that because I just answered that with self-care. The strategy is just QT with the family. Another one, how do you hope your story inspires and provide hope for others that's facing similar struggles? I hope that whoever sees this, hear this, understand that you're not alone. You think you're by yourself. You think you're the only one in this situation, but you're not. There was one point in my life I could look back, and I looked at my account and I was struggling, and I only had 97 cents. Couldn't even go to McDonald's to get something off the dollar menu, and I had to make it work until Friday. And now, I look back and I'm like, man, I went through that. I thought I was the only one that had like financial problems. I thought I was the only one that was having mental problems. I'm not. Am I perfect? Far from it. But I've learned over time to give myself a break. You know what I mean? So give yourself a break and go seek help. And give yourself a break and go use those resources. What advice do you have for those who are currently in a dark place? That you are not by yourself. You're not alone. Like I shared part of my story in this podcast. Whether you're watching it on YouTube or you're listening to this, that you're not, right? That there are people that care about you, including me. So if you need some sort of direction, check the show notes, 988, right? That's one of the things that I've used. I've learned moments like this can pass, but it only can pass when you ask for some assistance. That was today's episode. Hopefully you enjoy it. You let me know what you think. And once again, I'll see you next time.